I'm Marissa with Pearl and Pine. Let's get started on our making of our large circle hardwood frame. We are going to take our wood that is not milled down. We have a raw wood. We're gonna mill it. Our first step on milling it is I'm gonna run through the joiner, and then next I'll do a planer. We're gonna get it all nice and square for our hexagon shape. So, joiner it is. Let's go. I'm using white oak here that I got from my local lumber store. I've used multiple different types of woods for this. One of my favorite is the walnut. The graining in the walnut is so pretty. I really want to use a curly maple soon, but here we're using a white oak. Okay, I wanted to show you up close what the piece of wood looks like coming straight from the lumber yard. So the edges are like this, all like rusty, crusty, musty, instead of like this after I run it through the joiner. So there's a blade down here that is spinning and it's like chipping off, grinding down, cutting off, whatever you want to call it, this rough side to make it flat and smooth side. So I need that to perfectly do my hexagon when it comes from the mill, lumber yard, and I'm gonna run it through again. Ugh, makes a mess. Okay, now I'm going to be running the pieces of wood through the planer because this side is rough, both sides of them are rough, and I need them to be flat and square as well. Now, I'm not making a tabletop where all of these pieces need to butt together, so I am just going to run them through the planer just like this without making like one flat side. I'm going to get it pretty flat, but again, we're not making like a big old table here. I just am going to make a hexagon. So I'm going to be all right, but I'm going to run it through the planer now and make these sides nice and pretty and flat. Now that I've planed out all of my boards, the next step in creating the hexagon is cutting each of my pieces at 30 degrees. The hexagon is going to have 6 sides, so each angle is 30 degrees, where usually on a frame with 4 sides, a normal border is going to be 45 degrees. I want to be looking at my pretty side, so the side that I eventually want to be the front side of my circle. I want to be looking at that whenever I cut the 30-degree angle, because that is actually what is going to be face down when I make my hexagon, which what's face down is going to be the front side of my hexagon, therefore my circle. So looking at the pretty side when you're cutting the 30-degree angle. Okay, now that we have all of our pieces milled up and our 30-inch degree cut, we are ready to go to make the hexagon. I want this to be a completed 36-inch circle. I want my border to be 2.5 inches thick, so I need 36 inches, 20, 31 inches, like the numbers part we're gonna have to have a separate video for, guys, okay? But we are gonna make this hexagon. This is actually too much wood width-wise, but I really don't want to cut it down on the table saw. I'm not going to keep and use the wood anyway, so I'm just going to like glue it up and like have it as scraps. That's my plan thus far. So if you see some stuff like hanging off, that's why. From here to here, I want it to be 15 inches. And again, I got this number from the computer, knowing the size that I need, which will be a whole separate video. So this is going to be 15 inches. I'm also going to measure here to here, and I want it to be 15 inches as well. In each line, the same thing. So here, 15 inches. Inches. One here. I have, now that my hexagon is all together, beautifully gorgeous, I love it. This piece here is the piece that was cut off here. So my cut off, I am gonna use as a holder. So I have a flat side and I have a flat side. I'm gonna glue this cut off piece here to the edge. So when I go to clamp and squeeze it together, I have two flat sides. If I did not do this, I really can't clamp to this angled side. So this is going to be glued here, and I have this other little handy dandy piece that I am going to put here. So that way, when I try to glue this piece up, it is not slipping, sliding, making a huge mess, not doing what it needs to be doing. So I want this to be a stopper piece that makes it stay right hither. Something that I learned the last time that I did this was I need to glue these pieces on and let them sit overnight, because if I don't, they're not going to hold, and then it's just going to be a big headache and I will cry. Don't ask me how I know that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on, and then I will see you tomorrow for the actual glue up of said beautiful hexagon. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Let me tell you, these crocodile cloths either have a magic or like a whole bunch of chemicals in them. The thing is they don't like irritate my hands though. So if they do have chemicals, they're not like terrible. But they clean everything. They get paint off of stuff. They get glue off of stuff. I use them to get like dust, and somehow it just like sucks up the dust. I don't know how it works, but it's genius, whatever it is. Oh, it's only 30. Okay, this is where I leave you tonight. I'm gonna let all of this sit, and tomorrow we will come back and clamp it all together. Today we are going to be gluing up our hexagon, which is going to end up turning into our hardwood circle border. Oh my gosh, I love these so much. They make my brain hurt, but sometimes there's just something so good about that. So I am going to be using my big ol', I think these are 36-inch Bessie K-Body Revo, I don't know how you say it, tomato, clamps. And we are going to get this baby glued up. I only have 4 of them, so I am gonna have to do 4, pause and come back to do the other 2. Hexagon 6 sides, 4 minus 6 minus 4, 2. Anyway, I'm gonna do that. This part, hopefully because I let all of my pieces dry overnight, should be rather easy, but we're about to find out, all right? Okay. My favorite glue that I use all time, every single time I have to use wood glue, Type On Ultimate 3 wood glue. I get it at Home Depot. I fill it up and put it in my glue mate, and we get to town. The first time I did this, I didn't want the piece to glue down, so I had put tape. Well, then the tape got squished into my seam, and that was not good. So I can sand off this cardboard tape, not so much. You want to get a good level of glue on the whole entire seam. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's beautiful. Get in there. Get in that seam. All right. Take our Bessie clamp. All right, you want to clamp it where the glue's squeezing out and you've got a good, nice, solid pressure, but you don't want it to be too much where it starts to buckle. There is a point where it can be too much. I'm trying to use my body weight to hold this down so DJ doesn't yell at me when he goes to cut it. I think I'm gonna pick this one up and glue this, set it down, because I can't pick that angle up anymore. Here, it picks it up together. All right. This makes it a little hard. It's all right. We're going to do one at a time and not get ahead of ourselves. Not get ahead of ourselves. All right. I think I'm going to skip this one and go to that one. That way my little arc circle here has a break of someone else messing with them while they're starting to glue. So I'm going to skip over there, do those two, and then I'll essentially have two separate sections done. I don't know, that's just my thought process. I don't really have a rhyme or reason for it, but we're going to go over here. I'm so proud. Literally, guys, okay, a moment for not being silly. I am so proud of myself for letting this stuff dry overnight, and look how much easier this is making my life. Let it dry overnight. Be patient. It was such, I literally cried. Like, I tried to do it 3 times, and I was having to sand and get all the glue off because I couldn't leave the glue in the joints while the other, like this piece, re-dried. I had to get it out. Oh my gosh, it was just a mess. I think it's pretty good. I also want to say a little disclaimer that I don't think this is the best way to do this. This is the way that I currently am doing it. I don't think that it's the best way. I really want to learn how to do biscuits to help join these joints, but I'm kind of on a time crunch, so I'm going to do what I know to do, what has worked for me thus far. This is also going to be a border for something. It's not a table. It does not going to have any weight on it. There is going to be a circle in the middle that's going to hold it stable. So I think that this is decent for what I need to do with this particular pieces of wood. But I do think that there's like a better way. I just haven't learned how to do that yet. So this is what I have learned thus far. And if you're a beginner like me, what has worked for me. Clamp this one. I'm so excited that this is going so well. Ah, okay. Oh. Especially the amount that I struggled last time. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful how well this is going. Like that. To see how I was able to like pull that out more with this, you really want to get it pushed in as much as you can before you start cranking it with the handle, because if you don't give yourself like a good handle crank, you're not able to really squeeze as much as you should be able to. Good thing I go to the gym. All right, body weight on my seam. I'm putting literally like the pads of my feet right on the seam so I can try to hold it flat while I go to tighten. Ugh. And that one's actually about the best one that I've gotten thus far. You see here in the video at all how it made this piece turn? That's not going to be good for whenever I glue that down. So I want to get lower down on this piece so I'm not picking it up. But how am I going to do that? This piece here. Get as tight as I need you like that though. I don't feel as if we are strong enough that way. Make this one work at the top, or this one needs to be at the bottom. Let's see if we can make this one work at the top where it's not going to twist it. It's actually pretty good looking seam. I think that will do well. And that one's not terrible. It's like a little lifted, but it's not terrible. This is what I think that the biscuits would help in the shifting, and not only like the shifting of it up and down, but it would help the stability once the thing's cut. I honestly need to go to the store and get the actual biscuit pieces. I have the joiner, but I don't have the biscuits. So maybe I can try that on the next one. I do think it would be pretty easy to set it up like this and just mark where they're supposed to go, I think. I don't know because of the angle. I would have to try it on a piece and go from there. This is how I'm gonna leave it for now. We have 4 of them on. I'm gonna leave it like this for a few hours and then come back and take 2 of them off and do my other 2 joints. And then we should be ready to go to take it to get cut tomorrow. Take it over to the CNC and hopefully I can get some content there. I don't really know, but they're gonna cut it out for me. They said it takes them like, with preparation and everything, I think it takes them like 2 hours on the CNC, where for me, it would literally take me probably 8 to 10 hours to cut this thing out by myself. So, gonna load it in the car and take her over there. I didn't have a chance to get videos of this, but I found someone local to me that has a CNC. So after I create the Hexagon, they have been letting me bring my Hexagon to them and they're cutting out the circle on the CNC. Let me tell you that probably saves me 8 hours of being on my knees, making my router go in a circle. I have been so thankful for them and it helps so much. They then give me back the circle before I sand and finish it. Different ways of how I like to finish them, mainly depending on what kind of wood I'm using. The white oak here, I really like to just top coat it with my general finishes flat. I feel like it keeps it closest to the most natural tone as possible without turning it like orangey or deepening the color or anything. But if I'm using a walnut, I love to put a Rubio stain on it or oil, whichever, but it brings out those natural like deep light colors of it. So it's really just dependent on what kind of wood you're using. But like I said here, I'm using general finishes flat. I put multiple top coats, sand in between, and it is beautiful.